classic from Nintendo, Metroid.
Now I have a lot of respect when it comes to the original Metroid game on the NES.
I love Metroid.
This iconic classic remains a favorite of millions around the world. Let's find out why. It's Metroid.
Metroid. The game design mechanics behind The Legend of Zelda and Metroid, simply put, are brilliant.
Are you sure about that?
Hello, I'm Bing Dai Bagel, and I'm here to tell you why Metroid is an objectively bad game. The world is so bad in Metroid, I swear it was designed on purpose to make you get lost. Now, to be fair, I don't hate all of the map. You see this little part here, the beginning? This part is good, but everything else feels like it was designed by a monkey. On drugs. No, I'm serious, because there are two parts that I know of that if you go in them, the game soft locks you. And do you know what the worst part is? One of them has the ice beam in it. But, Bang Dai Bagel, I hear you saying, it only soft locks you if you don't have the high jump boots. Keyword, if. Meaning, if you find the secret before getting the high jump boots, tough luck, you gotta reset your game, because you can't jump out of the pit. Now, you may argue that you can just not go in the pit unless you have the boots, which is technically true, but the fact you can go in the pit without having the boots, thus soft-locking you, is just bad world design. Oh, and speaking of bad world design, a lot of it is just copy and pasted. Like how this blue pillow just repeats itself going up and down, and then right next to it is the same pillow, but orange. Or what about these three rooms right next to each other that are exactly the same? Now, typically this would just be lazy, but guess what? There's no map, meaning you get lost quicker than my grandma in a grocery store. And she's senile! Also, The Legend of Zelda came out 8 months earlier, which had a map. So what's your excuse, Metroid? And don't even get me started on the enemy placement. It's probably the worst I've seen in any game. Explain to me how you're supposed to dodge an enemy when you can't move. Oh, how about when there's a million of them on screen? And to make matters worse, there are these pipes that must lead to hell because of how many guys they spawn in. Notice how as soon as when I kill an enemy, another one spawns? Well, that's because there's no cooldown. Meaning, you have to camp next to the pipe and wait until you get a health power-up. Because for some reason, when an enemy becomes a health power-up, it stops them from spawning. Why? All that does is make you camp and mash the A button. And to make matters worse, these pipes are littered everywhere throughout the game. And I do mean everywhere. You go left, bam, a pipe. You go right, bam, a pipe. You cry in the corner with crippling depression, bam, a pipe. But wait, there's more. So tell me, Bob, how are the secrets in this game? Oh dear, it seems Bob has went mentally insane looking for all the secrets. Okay, but the secrets in this game are legitimately garbage. You'll be placing so many bombs around the map that you'll be a terrorist by the time you're done playing this game. All of the secrets in this game are either shoot the wall or place a bomb, and there's never an indicator of where you should do it. With one exception, the only secret that is indicated in the whole game, to my knowledge, is the one that soft locks you. The graphics in Metroid are pretty good, at least when compared to other games at the time. Like, what am I looking at here? There are many different environments, each with their own music, which all add to the overall atmosphere of the game, which is pretty good. The music and graphics, no complaints. One of the few good things about the game. Typically, this would be the part of the video I would say, it's an NES game, there is no story. Or, that the story is insane, like in the first Super Mario Bros., where apparently every Koopa Troopa can do black magic. But no, there's actually a lot to talk about here. Just a fair warning, I probably do not do the story justice in my explanation, but that's not going to stop me from trying. So basically, the government finds a new species known as the Metroid, but soon realize that if not contained, will destroy their entire civilization. So they attempt to contain it. And then they actually contain it. Well done, the government did something right. But oh no, there's terrorists, and they come, and then they steal the Metroid, and then they plan to use it as a weapon, destroying the entire universe. That after a space war with the terrorists, they finally find their base, but oh no, the police can't take it over. So, what does the government do? It cries for help. And somehow this works, as they got this universe's equivalent to Iron Man to show up. And now you have 24 hours to find the Metroid and stop them, or else the entire universe ends. Did you get all of that? Good, because I'm still not done. There was so much love in how this game connects with the other ones that I'm not even going to try to cover it, because my brain would explode. Oh, and spoiler alert, Samus is a girl. Yes, everyone knows that Samus is a girl now, but at the time, no one saw this coming or even considered the possibility of it, because every other video game character was a guy. Nintendo was showing that it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. 20 years before it was popular, Nintendo nailed sexism on the head. Until the ending, where they had her dance around in a bikini, defeating the whole purpose. And then the internet created Rule 34 Zero Suit Samus. Let's talk about the controls. The controls are surprisingly solid. You have a nice running speed, you can actually control your jump mid-air, and most importantly, you don't take knockback. This is a huge step up when compared to other games, as they just love to instantly kill you. But with that being said, the shooting is garbage. Now, I should be a little bit more specific, as the shooting itself is quite responsive, and you can even aim upwards. But it's more the mechanics around the shooting that ruin it. Issue number 1, you can't crouch, meaning there's some enemies you can't shoot. So, instead, you have to clumsily place bombs around them. Issue number 2, the hit stun in this game is massive, meaning if you hit an enemy once, it becomes a game of how fast can you button mash to kill them. Issue number 3, despite having a gun, you have to get close to your enemies. Obviously, in the beginning of the game, it's because you don't have the long beam, which is fine. But after you get the long beam sucks trash. Because if you hit an enemy when you're too far away, you can't follow it up, meaning you have to get close to finish them off, which defeats the whole purpose of the long beam. Issue number 4, aiming up while mid-air can be a bit clunky. If you aim up before you jump, you can typically aim up just fine. But if you try to aim up mid-jump, it just doesn't seem to work. So, while the shooting is technically fine, it definitely won't feel like it. Hello? What do you mean I'm 9 minutes into this game review and haven't mentioned the point of the game? Only an idiot would do that. Oh So, the objective of Metroid is to kill Mother Brain, and to accomplish this, you need to run around a poorly designed map, collecting power-ups to access new areas. Speaking of the power-ups, there are only 10 of them, which is forgivable for the NES. But what is not forgivable is the Wave Beam and the Ice Beam. Let's start with the Wave Beam. I will now list all the benefits of using the Wave Beam. Okay, it does let you hit enemies on the ground, and does more damage. But by the time you get it, you should have more than enough missiles to help you out. And the Ice Beam exists. And speaking of the Ice Beam, This thing is insanely useful, as any enemy you hit, even ones you can't kill, are frozen in place, which is required to reach certain areas. But, even though the Ice Beam is extremely useful, it only does damage when you unfreeze an enemy, meaning you'll be doing twice as much button mashing. Which brings me to another issue with this game. Whenever you die, you only respawn with 30 health. So, in order to regain your health, you have to camp next to a spawner and kill the guys. But, if you have the Ice Beam, it takes twice as long. So sometimes you'll be sitting there for like 10 minutes because you just don't get energy drops. But wait, there's more. I have not even mentioned the biggest issue with the Wave Beam and the Ice Beam. You can only use one at a time, and you need the Ice Beam to access certain areas. So if you're like me and didn't know that, and you collect the Ice Beam before the Wave Beam, and then you find the Wave Beam, you just lose the Ice Beam, which is a huge kick in the balls. And then you have to backtrack to a different area to find the Ice Beam, which took me like 30 minutes to find. And let's say you like the Wave Beam for some reason. There's only one Wave Beam power-up, while there's two Ice Beams. And let's say you're a complete moron and you collect both Ice Beam power-ups and then collect a Wave Beam. Tough luck. You're stuck with the Wave Beam. The other power-ups are fine. The missiles are probably the best one out of the bunch, but the secrets to find some of them is just dumb. The energy tanks are extremely useful, but there's only 7 of them, and the 7th one doesn't even increase your maximum energy. The screw attack is pretty nice, as it helps with a huge amount of enemies, but it just sometimes doesn't work. All of the other items work exactly how you would expect them to, so for a game based around its items, they're pretty meh. The items were kinda underwhelming. Maybe the bosses will be really cool. No, they won't. There are 3 bosses, all of which are pushovers, because all you have to do is get in their face and button mash. These are some of the most underwhelming bosses I've seen in any game ever. At least when you beat Mother Brain, there's a race against the clock to escape the planet, which is kinda cool, even if it is a bit easy. This game is riddled with glitches, and I don't mean the fun ones, I mean the game-breaking kind. Like the fact enemies you can't kill can suddenly be killed after you freeze them. Those, the soft locks I mentioned before, although I did find out you can get out of the Ice Beam pit if you glitch the game. Enemies will spaz out, you will sometimes get stuck in a wall and just die. Now, I don't have footage for this next glitch, so you're just gonna have to believe me. But there was this one part during my playthrough where a door spawned inside a wall, and then the game let me walk through the wall and open the door, go through the door, and then the game crashed. Testing. In conclusion, it's not a very good game, but it is one of the better NES games. But that's not really saying much, as there's like 10 good NES games off the top of my head. Yeah, in case you can't tell, I'm rushing to finish this video because I'm almost out of time, so I don't have my computer for a week, and I said I was going to get it done, and I'm getting this done. So until next time,